Well, the weather outside sure is frightful. With November 3rd of this year being the first time we got snowfall in this semester, quite a few inches have piled up since then. We've beaten the November average of 3.19 inches and the December average of 12.94. That, mixed with all the low temperatures we've been getting, have been creating such an icy terrain difficult to navigate for students. I've been curious as to how this year's snowfall has compared to other years here at Gonzaga, so I sat down with a GU alumni to find out.
I've lived in Spokane for 6.5 years. I came here and I spent 4 years at Gonzaga University, and I've now been working for 2.5 years in Spokane. This winter is one of the more intense winters, I would say, probably second or third worst since I've been here. We usually don't get this much snow this early. By December, it usually kind of comes around. But usually we don't have a foot of snow by this point. It usually comes in the new year. So I guess buckle up, kids, because we're in for a treat.
It's quite interesting to hear that this year's snowfall has been irregular compared to the past. Now, if you're anything like me, you may be questioning, why is it irregular? Why is there more snow this year? I sat down with a fellow GU student and environmental scientist major, Henry Schroeder, to try and see if there is a reason as to why there is so much more snow this year.
Okay, so basically what we're looking at is the northern and southern hemispheres with a lot more snow cover. Due to the ice albedo effect, they're warming faster than the rest of the planet, basically, in both like land and like atmosphere temperature. Basically, the layer of air that separates the really cold mass of air from the like warmer mass of air. And so since that's lessening, since the temperature difference of those two masses of air are lessening, it's easier for that colder air to break through kind of that artificial boundary that's separating those cold air masses, or the cold air and the warm air mass. So the colder air is getting down below where it should be. And so we're seeing a lot more like increased polar vortexes down where we are right now. These colder airs are moving down. And during the winter months, we're gonna see more temperature extremes. And in the summer months as well, we are going to be continuing to see more temperature extremes.
Now, with the roads very icy and slick, some worry about making it from one destination to another in one piece. I asked these same people what they think of the road conditions and if they feel safe when they have to go out and drive.
Yes, but this is also due to the fact that I have four-wheel drive and snow tires on. And even then I still like skid out and fishtail, and it's kind of a little scary.
I think the city for the most part does a pretty good job of making sure the main roads are cleared, but when you do drive through the neighborhoods, they oftentimes miss spots. There's oftentimes areas that are private businesses that it's not up to the city to make sure those are plowed and safe for everybody. So you do need to be careful. I do have a four-wheel drive car with snow tires, so that definitely helps with traction and making sure that in all conditions I'm able to drive. However, it's also important for everyone who's driving in the snow to make sure they're being really cautious, going overall a little slower than they need to go, not taking corners really fast, not changing lanes really fast, because that's the sort of thing that will cause you to fishtail.
With the end of the semester approaching fast and a solid amount of students going home west of Spokane for winter break, I wanted to ask what they think of traveling west in such weather, especially through Snokane Pass on I-90. After all, it is infamous for getting dumped on with snow at this time of year, causing accidents and delaying travel plans.
When the roads are clear, I can get there in like 3.5, 4 hours. But last time I went and it was snowing, it took me 8.5, and a lot of it was just like parked. Thankfully, it wasn't too bad and there were no like serious crashes or anything, but I'm not too worried about myself getting there. I'm just more worried about people smashing into me. So yeah, it's not very fun, but we'll make it probably, hopefully.
My sophomore year at Gonzaga, I don't think it snowed until the day that I left for winter break, and it absolutely just pummeled the road. And there was no one who had come and cleared it, and we were driving in my friend's beat up Toyota Corolla, and it's just super slippery and dangerous getting out of Spokane. We barely made it up the on-ramp to go to Seattle. And we're like slipping and sliding the entire way out of Spokane for like 1.5 hours, and it was pretty scary. So yeah, I mean, if there's fresh snow on the ground, you definitely need to be careful leaving Spokane. And hopefully it eases up in eastern Washington where the main freeways sort of start to clear up. When it comes to Snokane Pass, I've been pretty fortunate. I haven't had knock on wood. When it comes to Snokane Pass, I've been pretty fortunate. There's not been a ton of bad experiences there. Definitely, there's been a few times though where it's coming back where there's active snowfall and quite several inches of snow, and people are, there are cars in the ditches and people are spinning out right in front of you and just not taking the situation very seriously. Sometimes you're being overly cautious, but at the end of the day, if that means you keeping your car and you keeping yourself and the other people around you safe, then that's what you got to do.
Thankfully, the forecast does not predict any more heavy snowfall until most students are home and comfortable with their families. With snowfall mostly predicted in the last week of the month, students will have to make sure to stay safe when coming back from break. It's safe to assume that next semester will be followed with similar, if not even more snowfall than this one. Remember to stay safe and warm out there, Gonzaga.